Alright, hey everybody. I didn't see a video that did it like this, so I thought I would share what I'm going to do on cleaning this. It's a 67 tank, but it's for a 68 Chevy C10. I have an old one that had gas in it and went bad, soured gas, and I don't want to do anything with it. Taking a closer look at it, I've just got a piece of wood. I think it's a 2x10. Something I didn't use for a table. I got an old school office chair. It's pretty heavy duty though, metal. And this is metal down here, but the wheels are done, so they don't look good anymore. And I put a towel here, and I got it just, strapped to it here. See, that's how it looks. I got it just strapped to my fence here. There's the old tank. It was a 68. And here's going to be the new one. So what I can do is now spin it all the way around fairly easily and clean this tank. I covered this hole with the old fuel sending unit, the old fuel pump, and locked it down so that'll be closed. The only holes to consider then would be the actual filler net. So I'm going to follow the directions that they gave exactly on that. So they say to do a handful of drywall screws, so I'm going to do about a handful of drywall screws. Lady, it's okay. No. Hey, come here, lady.
Okay, it's my day. Okay, now I'm done with my job.
Hold on, so they say to put a handful of drywall screws and a pint of lacquer thinner. That's for the 10-gallon kit. I'm doing the 20-gallon. So I'm going to do almost this whole quart of lacquer thinner. So 2 pints and a quart, I could pour this whole thing in there, but I'm going to pull back before it's almost gone. Save me just a little bit to clean some tools or something. Almost done. I'm going to call it. Yeah, just a little left. So let's see, I'm going to cap it up. JJ? You okay?
Yeah.
Tighten this down tight. There we go. Okay. Read it one more time. 4 metal takes. Place a handful of drywall screws, about a pint of acetone or lacquer thinner into the tank, and shake them around vigorously for several. It's actually working. I probably could have put more lacquer thinner. Probably could put more screws in. I did rinse this out with water an hour or two ago. So that's one thing I am leaking a little bit here. So I'm going to open it back up. Hold that. they suggested using rat, so I forgot that. I'll try it. I'm gonna double this over. So I'm gonna double that plastic wrap up on there and see. I don't have to go fully all the way around over and over as long as I'm shaking this around. You taking some time off, buddy? Stay back from me. You can go wherever I can see you. Stand on this other side from where the fill. The old farmer way is to tie this to a tractor tire, the side of a tractor tire, and then go work in the field all day. They wouldn't have maybe used screws, they probably would have used rocks. So this plastic wrap seems to be holding it in better. I'll probably do that when I do the coating. JJ! So the Google bot says it's 77 degrees. That's just about perfect. They said this should be applied between 70 degrees and 85, so 77 is just about perfect. I've had this stuff out in the same area getting acclimated to the same temperature, and I've done the acetone lacquer thinner and the screws. I'm about to clean that out in a second. I didn't have a glove on the other time and kind of had some pressure in there, so I'm gonna put a glove on. All right, this time. Yeah, it definitely has some chemical-y stuff going on because I got a little kind of pressure in there. I'll rotate this down slow and try to collect all these screws and this thinner into this oil drip pan. This works. All right, there we go. And this is a rusty, thin V8 looking stuff. This tank is not terribly rusted, but I don't want to have to do this again for a while, so. I think I got most of that for a minute. I'm gonna put this block down so these screws can't fall. Alright, so as far as just cleaning the tank, I'm doing this the way the Caswell instructions say for coating the tank. So I used the lacquer thinner and drywall screws, spun it around, got it out of there, and I opened this up, got all the drywall screws out, and I left it here to drain for a few minutes while I took a break, got a drink. I'm about to put this bung back in. Alright, so if you're just getting the motorcycle kit, this is what you get. 2 things of solvent, some instructions. I'm not going to read you the instructions straight out, but they do say that the things that cause the most problems is people trying to use it for 2 different tanks. So I ended up getting 2 10-gallon kits instead of 120 because of ordering the wrong one. I didn't do it, but Caswell was really cool. They saved me money and didn't charge me for the price of the 220s or 210s. They charged me for the price of 20, which was a little cheaper. So it's got some little locks on this can. I guess you gotta bust these off to even get going. Get the box to throw this trash in. I'm gonna clear all my tops off. That's smart though, keeps them from coming off unless something catastrophic happens. Smart. So yeah, I'm not gonna mess around trying to double up, or I don't have any other tanks to do this with right now. I guess I could have done that at the same time, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just play it safe and let this coat the best it can. So hopefully I don't have to fool with this again in my lifetime, maybe. Anyway, I wanted to get everything together. What I'm gonna mix with, I'm gonna pour out of this bucket into the spout, cover it up, and then I have an elastic band. So that's pretty much what they tell you to do. So I'm gonna mix this stuff up as fast as I can. I believe it says to mix it for at least 2 minutes. So what I'm gonna do, get everything opened so I can carefully pour it all real quick. Go ahead and drop that in there and let it start draining. Yeah. Alright, pop these two little ones open. And so if you weren't going to do as big of a tank, this is actually a 21 gallon tank, a little over 20. So this should be just perfect for it. Caswell is the makers of this stuff is called dragon's blood when it's got red coloring in there. There was a lot on the top of that, so what I'm going to do is pour this in and keep this phone ready to go. Alright, get that out of the way. So I'm going to dump these. One big one, one little one. I'm going to hold these two, let them drain out while I dump this little one. Try to hold all those over here. Okay, I can hold all three. See if I can pour this next to my hand. Yeah, that stuff's thick. Definitely want to have some gloves on for this, because it could get on you. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with this stuff dripping out. The little ones seem like they drain pretty easy, so I'm just going to keep this big one draining and let the other big one drain for a second. And I'm going to immediately start mixing while these drain out. Okay, Google, set a timer for 2.5 minutes.
Third timer for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Starting now.
I'm still letting stuff drain out of here while I mix this in. I'm not going to have any extra use for it, so I just want this stuff to mix as good as it can. Get every bit in here. You want to have everything ready, so when you do it, you can do it. You don't have to have anything, because you don't have much time once this stuff is mixed, I guess. Where am I at? Timer will go off in a sec, I guess. There's still stuff dripping out of these big ones, so I might just turn them over. Nah, it's most of it. Come out of here. I'm not going to waste much time cleaning. I'm going to keep mixing. They say scrape the sides. I'll go back and forth. As you can see, this is kind of a, looks like glue. That's epoxy, so what it is, I guess. 2 parts. This is getting pretty well mixed, but I'm glad they give you a certain number to shoot for. Keep you doing it longer than you probably need to, just to be safe. I said 2:30. They said 2 minutes. I'm going to call it in just a sec. Alright. Start turning this tank the way I'm going to do it. Maybe that way. Looks a little better. So I can see this stuff start curing pretty quick. So I'm going to take my stick, scrape it off. There goes my timer, 2.5 minutes. Stop. Use a funnel. So, I'm not going to waste a lot of time with that. Let me get it. Try to cover over this cap with this as tight as I can. And then I'll cover it with this elastic. I don't think I can get a fourth time around. Yeah, maybe. No, maybe. Yeah. Alright, 4 times around. Now I'm going to start turning this. And let it go from where it did to the bottom. And clean this off of there. But I'm not going to waste my time. I'm just going to keep spinning this back and forth, let it settle in different areas. Still going. Well, I can use the stuff on the outside of the tank to see how fast it's drying since I spilled a little. I think it'll peel off pretty easily. Pour into tank, then immediately seal up the filler hole with Glad wrap and an elastic band. Rotate the tank around in every direction for several minutes to obtain a good layer of gas tank sealer over all surfaces. Remove the filler cap, Glad wrap seal, pour out any excess. So I just got Glad wrap on here and I'm just going around and around. It's can't really even hear it sloshing around in there really. If you have a built-in fuel filter, blow air into the fuel line for about 10 minutes. This will clear the filter of any gas tank sealer. Trim any excess material as soon as the sealer becomes plastic-like. This can be scraped out with a sharp knife at the point, usually about 40 to 60 minutes after mixing. Place the tank in a warm 70 to 90 degree place and allow to cure for 24 to 36 hours before putting gasoline in the tank. If you want or need to reapply a second coat, you must do so while the first coat is still tacky, usually within 24 hours. You can elevate the temperature of the tank to 140 for 4 hours. This will post-cure the resin, and the tank may be... So my rack is just starting to get a little loose. Might tighten it up. One more, just to keep her tight. Don't fall. So the camera cut off. I don't know if it got where I poured the last little remaining into here. So I did it for probably 5 or 6 minutes of spinning. And I poured the very last of it into there. And I've done it for another minute, coming on 2 or so now. I'm letting it sit along this bottom part a good bit because I feel like that's where most of your gas is usually going to be sitting, in the bottom portion, bottom half to everything. But I am letting it sit on all 4 directions for a good little bit to get it evenly coated. So, like I said, I'm not an expert, but I feel like this was a good way to get it going in all directions. Maybe even better if you had a way to spin this 360 degrees. It'd probably be the most optimum thing you could do, but I feel like this is going to get it pretty good. Hope. So I've definitely done this for a few minutes over that, and I am just moving it around while I get ready to drain it. I'm going to drain it back into the same bucket I put it in. We'll see how much comes out. This has definitely been a few minutes because the video cut off. That's holding pretty good, isn't that crazy? Desk chair was a perfect idea, if I do say so myself. So, I'm getting some epoxy on it with my hands as I turn it from where I spilled it. But I don't see any leaking out of anywhere here, or this cap still. I think I'm gonna do, turn it up. Let's see what's inside. Get this off. So there's a very little bit, maybe about a ½ inch in the very bottom already. Not a ½ inch from the whole bottom. So I'm dropping this all the way down right now, and nothing's coming out. There is some in there that's still tacky, I'm sure, but I haven't seen it come out yet. But I don't mind. So what I think I'm gonna do is just leave this like this to where it's draining as far down as it can. See, it'll rest like that. Our downspout's just about face down. We'll see if any comes out. I'm gonna pull these gloves off. Alright, so I've been moving it around a little bit again. I let it drain for a minute there, and a little bit of the epoxy did drain out. I turned it back around and moved it around a little bit more. I'm gonna turn it to how it wants to sit, comfortably facing down. I'm gonna let it drain the rest of it out. It took probably a minute of it sitting upside down like this for it to start pouring out, and there was a little bit of, I'll show it to you if I can real quick. There was a little bit of stuff in here. See a little bit of kind of like some sediments, but it's not much. It's just barely enough to coat the bottom. So far, I'm impressed. It does look like it coated it fairly well. Only thing I know to do at this point is let it dry. So just to be safe again, what did it say? For a few minutes, blow out the air filter. Don't have to worry about that. Trim excess material. Can usually be scraped out 40 to 60 minutes after mixing. Place the tank in a warm 70 to 90 degree place and allow to cure for 24 to 38 hours before putting gas in the tank. So I'm gonna clean out this mess, and I'm gonna let this drain out any more that wants to drain out. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna check back in on the video later on and let you know. All right, I don't know how well you can see that, but it is just starting to drip again for the second time. And you can see there's a little bit of sediment that was still left in the tank. You probably could have cleaned it twice. I don't think that little bit of sediment mixing in with the stuff is gonna mess it up. They say you don't even have to clean it, but I followed their directions to a T, and I'm hoping for the best. So there is a little bit more dripping out of here, but there's not that much, and you can see there's not that much in this mixing bowl. But I'm gonna clean up my mess, and I'm gonna let this drain out and check back in tomorrow, next day, when this is dry. So anyway, you can see how much has drained out of there. About that much. And just so it kind of gives you an idea, this is a good 20 or 30 minutes after it at optimum conditions. It's still workable. This is how much has drained out. There's probably a little bit more to drain out when I put this back under there, but I thought I'd show you. That's kind of what mine looked like. There's definitely some sediment and stuff in there. You knocked over the toy factory?
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to bring that in when I come in? Done? Alright, I'm going to put this back underneath that tank right there. And I'm going to let it drain out overnight. Just leave it here. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? I would definitely wear gloves because this stuff is sticky, and I don't know, probably something you can use to clean it, but I ain't figured it out yet. Soap and water does kind of get it off of you, but orange cleaner or whatever stuff get a little better. I'll let this drain, clean it up in a minute. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm inside now, but I'm going to do a wrap up on this gas tank video. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you a little bit. That little area where I spilled it is all in this. You can see the shiny parts where it kind of is not so shiny, and then it gets shiny all in here. That's where it kind of spilled out as I was pouring it into here, and then I just wiped it down this edge. So I don't think that's hurting anything. Probably will help the tank in the long run. It's hard to see, but if I get the angle just right, I saw it earlier. Maybe not. There you go. Okay. See, I moved it all in different directions, and everything got coated this side really good. But a little spot of this side didn't get coated all the way. Wish I had a little bit to throw on there, but it's all good. I don't think that's going to affect it. I think it has dried really well. I've had it in here for way longer than it needs to be. It's in the house here. Just been sitting here drying. I'll also show you, this is the bottom of the mixing container after it was all said and done. There's probably a little bit more junk has fallen in there because it's been in my garage. But I will say the places that were very well mixed dried very well down in the bottom. But up here kind of by my finger is where there's still some kind of shiny spots. Places that didn't get really mixed perfectly are still a little bit sticky and tacky. And this has been 2 weeks since I coated this tank. So if you don't mix this up the very best it can be mixed, there's a chance it doesn't really bond together like it's supposed to and dry like it's supposed to. So definitely make sure you're following the directions if you want to, and mix the shit out of it would be my mix the mess out of it would be my recommendation here. But I'm excited. I still haven't had the time to install it yet, but I am going to get on that soon. So anyway, I hope this video helped you out. Maybe it'll inspire you to clean your tank out, or help you if you're got to do it anyway. So yeah, I'm sorry I'm recording this with my phone, so it's not as good as usual, but like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And yeah, I don't do a lot of gas tank coating videos, but I do drone videos and other stuff. So maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, maybe you'll subscribe, maybe you don't. Thanks.